Absolutely delighted to have one of the inspirations for the programme with us, Holderness, who, as well as being one of the leading and most influential critics and cultural critics of the last certain number of years, is also a leading creative writer, and he's going to share with us part of his current project, a piece called The Voyage of the Red Dragon, based on that tantalising piece of evidence, which may or may not be genuine, about performances of Hamlet and Richard II performed on the galleon. To read you the official preface, this story is based on historical evidence detailing the enactment of two Shakespeare plays, Hamlet and Richard II, on board the ship the Red Dragon in the course of the third voyage of the East India Company in the first decade of the 17th century. The story invents an imaginary journal, stylistically based on the actual company journals, kept by a young merchant of the company. Almost all of the existing critical discussions of this topic focus on the performance of Hamlet, but The Voyage of the Red Dragon looks instead at the performance of Richard II and considers possible reasons for that play's presence in this outlandish context and the potential implications of its mediation to Africa in the context of subsequent European imperialism. The story operates as a historical mystery narrative that follows the trajectory of the real voyage, but plays with a conspiracy theory connecting the company's intervention into West Africa backwards to the Essex Rebellion and forwards to subsequent colonial adventures. In 1601, Richard II was deployed by Essex's supporters as a model for unconstitutional regime change. In the tale, Keeling shows Richard II to a group of African dignitaries in order to persuade them to overthrow their ruler, King Bury, who is hostile to the company and to English interests, and replace him with a friendlier ruler. Holderness.
My title, as you can see from the programme, is Shooting an Elephant. And those of you who have read Richard II right slap bang through will know that no elephants are shot in the play. But the title, which George Orwell has used before without my permission, derives from the account in one of those journals of the third voyage of the East India Company of how the crew of the ship went ashore to hunt an elephant, wounded the animal, which then ran away into the bush. And the passage ends, seeing we could do no good upon him, and night falling, we returned to our boats. Now the young merchant, as the narrator of the story, finds a copy of the text used for the shipboard production of Richard II, and finds it heavily edited to make it a play about the benefits of abdication, a kind of manifesto for the right of nobility to remove from his throne a king whose rule they disapprove. And the narrator then has a conversation with Captain Keeling, in which the latter explains his actions, drawing a parallel between this regime change and the Earl of Essex's attempted coup, which did, of course, use Richard II as a piece of propaganda. And this is Captain Keeling. Now, this affair of King Borel and Lucas Fernandez, he went on, can be compared with that crisis in our own country's history. If it is time for a king to go and make way for a better ruler, then the people of the realm may decide to make that change. If we can show them how this might be done, we do no wrong. If they saw in the play Richard II the wished-for abdication of their own king, then the play formed a mirror for their own desires. It is not something we ourselves engineered, for it is, after all, only an old play, long out of favour, dealing with long-forgotten quarrels. And yet, I tell you this, my boy, he said, we may never pass this way again, but because of what we have done here today, those who follow us will find a very different welcome on these shores. They will find, in place of hostility, love. In place of war, peace. And in place of hatred, a free and friendly traffic of commerce and exchange. We are bringing light to some of the darkest places of the earth. Do you see it now? I owned that I did, and resolved to do all in my power to assist the general in carrying that flaming, luminescent torch into the hot obscurity of jungle and desert. I asked him where we were bound for next, and he told me he hoped to drop anchor on the other side of Africa, by the shores of an Arabian island kingdom called Socotra, ruled by one Ben Said. Are the natives there like to be friendly? I asked. Not yet, he said, but they soon will be. We may need to show them a play or two first. One other memory of our time in Sierra Leone remained with me, proving hard to shake off. Indeed, it pursued me in dreams, so that long afterwards I would wake from a nightmare and believe I was back again in that hot, restless land. We had gone ashore, the weather being fair, our company led by the General and Captain Hawkins, when we understood by the Negroes of an elephant which was not far off. So our General caused 4 good shots with their muskets to go along with the Negro to see if they could shoot him. We followed, as the Negro softly and silently crept into the jungle to come upon the elephant in secrecy. At the edge of a clearing, he stopped, and we all stopped with him. In the open space, we beheld the elephant, a magnificent bull with huge tusks, grazing quietly with his trunk from the trees. I remember feeling the ponderous mass of that huge bulk, more like a rock or a tree than a living thing, filling that close, hot space as blood fills the heart. Then my ears were deafened, and my eyes momentarily blinded by the volley and flash of 4 muskets firing at once. And as the drifting smoke cleared, I saw, as if in a slow silence, the great beast, wounded, turn towards us as if in indignation, then start away and run crashing into the jungle so violently that we had hard shift to pursue him. As we ran in his track, easily observed from smashed branches and upturned roofs of trees, we observed that he bled very much all the way from his wounds. And so, as we could do no good upon him, and night falling, we returned to our boats. On regaining the ship, we were conscious only of disappointment at a failure to capture our prey. But night after night, as we sailed away from that lion-haunted coast, a great afflicted beast lurched through my dreams, wounded nigh unto death from our musket balls, leaving behind him a trail of green devastation, vividly splashed with the bright red of his own life-blood. Thus, my memories of Africa crash nightly into the kingdom of my dreams, the abiding memory of a wounded creature, huge and powerful, innocent and suffering, crippled by our carelessness. He offered us no violence, and yet we killed him. In truth, in the end, we could do